Okay, everybody, we are going to learn about some collaborative problem solving and within the classroom and some helpful strategies that you can implement um, to help a student when they are stuck with a problem and better ways to communicate as well. So I hope you enjoy and welcome. Next up, we have why we should collaborative problem solve. Collaborative problem solving is a great method to communicate with your students when behavioral problems start to rise in the classroom. This method can help students reflect on the why in their problems. And a good thing I really love about this is we empower students to take ownership of their learning, which is very rare that I see that in the classroom. And it's definitely something you should take in consideration when implementing this idea. Also, another good thing is collaboration allows for critical thinking. So, a deeper source of thinking, like, why did this happen? And what are some ways I can fix this and resolve the issue? So, that is just a couple points of what is collaborative problem solving and what are the benefits. Okay, now we have what we would see in a school setting or a classroom. So, a couple points I want to make clear is always ask before assuming. Never blame a student before you know all the details. Always get the background information because we never know what's going on in a student's personal life, and it definitely may be affecting their school or anything. So always ask. And then another thing is share concerns in multiple ways and ask students to define the concerns that they have with you. So invite your students to think with you, redirect them, and revisit those concerns later. Always implement a plan. A plan is very useful for younger kids too. It's like a routine. So having that plan and set goals with them can really help lead to success and help students define um, success in general. So yeah, and always share students' perspectives. So we must take those into account and be humble. Listen to your students when they're sharing with you, and that will help in collaborative problem solving. Here we have just a collaborative problem solving discussion note taking method. So you'll put like the student's name, the teacher. You're going to describe the problem and concerns that the student has, as well as the teacher. So the teacher is going to describe those, and then you guys are going to take action and problem solve and create a plan together. So what is the teacher going to do? What is the student going to do to make sure that these problems don't arise again in the classroom or outside of the classroom? Implement a follow-up plan. Always implement a follow-up plan and check in with those students. Give a specific date and time. So, hey, I'm going to talk to you for 5 minutes before recess, just you and I, and we're going to see, did our plan work? If not, what can we change to make it work? Having these with giving a copy to the student is very important so they can know, okay, these are the plans, and I'm going to try my best to achieve those and reach my goal. Here we have just some collaborative problem solving methods. This image is something I would put in my classroom blown up so the students can see it and refer back to it. A couple of things from this that I really like is to not look for quick fixes because not everything's going to be quick. Then sometimes you're going to need to put in a little more time to solve a problem, and that's totally fine. There's not always a one way direct fix. And then another thing I liked was giving the students ownership, allowing them to feel empowered when they make their own decisions and when they problem solve on their own. Having that power is so good for a student to grow and to progress and see where they messed up and how they can fix that together. Another thing is to bring out the best in each child or student. Never focus on negatives, just focus on their positives and their abilities and what they can use those to achieve in a really successful environment. Next, next we have just an image that are three key points in positive problem solving. The first one is empathize and listen. So you say, I noticed that you're having a hard time doing this, and then that leads into sharing your concern, such as, I understand this is difficult for you, but I want to help you achieve in the best way that I can. And then finding a solution together. I wonder if there is a way that we can work on this problem together. And then, just collaboration is just something that will, at the end, lead to a more positive classroom environment and successful student. Um, this method supports behavior school wide. And then at the end of all of this, reflection is the key piece. Having your student reflect on where they could have did a little bit better is really important. And then just communication between two students or teacher is also important. Building those solutions together. Um, and yeah, collaboration is just designed for two people or more to work together on a problem. All right, and here we have who designed collaborative problem solving for children. So I found that Dr. Ross Green designed the collaborative solving model for classroom teachers or anybody. It's designed to help children with challenging behaviors in the classroom. It's designed to understand those challenging behaviors and what we can do to help them. And then we must understand that a challenging behavior needs to be viewed in the context of a child's development. So many of these students that you will have is they're going to go through this and then they're going to develop in the end. So this isn't really a negative thing. Um, it's going to be a positive outcome in the end. So behind all these challenging behaviors are skills that need to be built on. So, for example, communication, that might be a skill that these students need to work on to describe how they're feeling. So just have that in the back of your mind when you're thinking about collaborative problem solving. Here, here we have just a quote that I found. I really enjoyed reading it. It states that if a school staff is focused on identifying the lagging skills that underlying students' challenging behavior rather than relying on a psychiatric diagnosis or other diagnosis, um, then their understanding of challenging behavior would be more compassionate and more accurate. So we must read between the lines because it's not going to be a direct diagnosis. There might be something other than a psychiatric thing going on. So just think about that. Maybe your child is acting out because they didn't eat in the morning or they didn't get enough sleep. So just, not because they have like a medical condition, just think outside the box and communicate with your students, and that will lead to a more successful school year. And it will help your student develop too, and it teaches them new skills to work on. Here, here we just have a video that I thought would be fun to implement, and it's something you can implement inside your classroom too. It just talks a little bit about collaborative problem solving and what that is going to look like inside the classroom. And it just gives you a little bit of a rundown, and it's definitely school appropriate. So showing this to your kids might help them understand what you're talking about a little bit better when you say we need to all work together and we're all in this together. So yeah, that is the end of my slides. I hope you guys learned and feel like you can use this strategy in your own classroom. I know I'm definitely going to take this and use it as much as possible because it's going to be really helpful for many of my students that I know I'll have in the future. So yeah, thank you for listening and going through my slides.
There is no I in team, they say.